Welcome to another 317 podcast. Today we are talking about comedy and how it pertains to our Christian walk, to our spiritual life. So without much more ado, let's just get into it.
Dude, I love that intro. Love that stuff.
Thank you.
The band The Midnight, go listen to it.
I think you showed us,
Dude.
or maybe you showed me before.
Okay. That band, great stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's just like, it's our intro, but it's a band.
Heck yeah.
Good stuff.
Nice.
All right.
Yeah, so when you sent out the topic,
Well, the scripture that came to mind has always come to mind when I think about comedy and these things that make us laugh, make me laugh and get me through hard times. Times really is the joy of the Lord is our strength.
Yeah.
And I've always tied it to comedy. I don't know, joy and comedy always like linked together in my mind. I don't know, man. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
We were talking about what should we talk about today, and we were just started riffing on like funny stuff, Just always texting you guys is hilarious, always. And so I just figured, like, why not just talk about this? It's our friendship. We're all goofy dudes up in this room,
for
and
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you ain't goofy, we're not friends, really. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's always been our thing. That's always been something that I think has kept us like not so serious with each other.
Yeah.
We're just goofy, man. We have a good time. We laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I laugh with you guys more than I laugh like in a week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Another thing was our old friend Josh Hartz once was talking about Jesus and how it was funny with Jesus. And I never thought about that. It was like a game changer for me when he said about
like his sense of humor.
Like Jesus had a sense of humor, and that's like, why wouldn't he have a sense of humor? Like,
Right.
that's so true.
Right.
Or he's talking about the log and the
and the spec.
and how, like, if Jesus is telling you that, like, that's funny. If you were in the room and someone's saying something like that, like, that's a funny situation. And I never thought of it like that.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was so good. And it just, that right there really put into perspective, like, the power of laughter, of finding something funny. Why is that funny?
Yeah.
And it really deepens that emotion. Like, I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I like that, man. I like how it has more depth than we think. Like comedy comedy, joy, and just laughter, all of that stuff. I feel like it has so much more depth than we give it credit for.
Oh, for sure.
And then, it's even scientifically proven that the health qualities laughter has. Like, just being filled with joy can, like, expand your lifespan.
Jeez, dude.
Like, you literally live longer because you're jolly.
Oh my gosh.
If you're happy, you're living longer.
Oh,
that's
man.
just, stuff like that. I feel like, because everything's always so doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Especially when, like, thinking about end times, like Revelation or just most books of the Old Testament, it is very heavy, and it's very serious. We need to take it very seriously.
Yeah.
But you gotta, like, calm down, and have, like, a good sense of humor at times, and just, like, be able to laugh and have a good time. Like, if you can't, you're just bound up. I feel like people take everything way too serious. So
for sure. It's like, I was thinking about this subject and the leaders that have always inspired me, and they're all funny, They're all serious and deep and very smart and great, character, but and they're also funny.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
funny. That's good.
It's just weird. Like, if you're not funny, you might not have such a great following, because that you need that.
Right.
And at least in my life, when I can look back at the things that, while I was living them weren't that great, and I can look back at them now and I say them and it's funny, dude, that's so, I don't know, that's powerful to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's closure, when you can laugh at something.
Right.
Heck yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's something that that I hadn't really thought about, but that's how I've always been. I mean, at my grandpa, who I was really close to, and at his funeral, like, it was okay when I was able to make a joke about it. When, I mean, full transparency, when Stephanie and I, when she had a miscarriage, that was one of the darkest times in our lives together.
Yeah.
And she was actually the first one to make a joke, and it was not quick, but but once she made the joke, everything shifted to,
jeez, man,
this is, life, not life goes on, so just leave it behind. But there is, especially for us Christians, there's hope, there's a future, there's purpose to life, there's, and there's strength to be found in that perspective of it too. I have very much stopped myself in a lot of situations from making a joke out loud, because I know people can't in that moment take it. And I've learned that through some awkward situations.
Yes.
But I know I'm thinking these jokes, and it's getting me through these tough situations.
Yeah.
Even if it's just on the inside.
That's that maturity, dude.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? Okay. That makes sense.
That was a joke.
Yeah. Oh. So you're saying this is a tough time?
Yeah.
But and that's something that anytime I've needed to be comforted, almost, I mean, as long as it's not like, my loved one died, boom, somebody's making jokes about them. Not that quick.
Yeah.
That's, once somebody's able to crack a joke, and it doesn't have to be disrespectful, but it doesn't have to be hilarious.
Right.
Just a little into like release. It's that tension release.
Yeah.
That's why in like really serious movies, when they crack a joke, it's this big sigh of relief, and a joke that's maybe not hilarious at face value in the moment gets such a big laugh, because it's just this tension release. But I mean, and that's, think about the worst people you've had in your life, and I mean, at least all the people in my life, most of them Christians, had no sense of humor.
Yeah, dude.
They became miserable. And when I say worst, I just mean my interaction, my experience with them was the worst.
Right.
Who knows about the rest of their lives? But yeah, that's such an important thing to have as a leader, as a follower, as a mentor, as a friend, as a husband, or wife, as a spouse, I guess I should say. Yeah, man. That's why when you threw this out there, I loved it, man. I wanted to get into this.
Nice.
Yeah, man. That's crazy. I've never delved deep into the comedy aspect of it.
I was nervous when he liked it, because I'm like, I don't think anyone's ever talked about this, or that I've heard anybody talk about this.
Right, dude.
So I was like, what are we gonna say?
No, that's good, man.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And just like the fact that it's so linked to joy. Like comedy it's just so linked to joy, like and happiness and laughter and all that. And I like that you were saying it like breaks you out of kind of that dark place. There's a shift. If you've ever like been with somebody, and I'm sure it was like this with you and Stephanie, like where they're crying, and it's hard for both of you to be in a situation that's dark like that, and then one of you makes a light joke. It doesn't even have to be comedy doesn't have to necessarily mean like it's putting something down. Like, you know, most comics would, you know, would go into something like, you know, cut it down or anything like that. No, you can make a funny comment, you know, and it's comedy, like a funny comment or something.
Right.
Like, so, and that person who's crying is now laughing, and suddenly their shoulders let down. You know, their whole mood changes.
Right.
And like, if you've ever gotten a thank you from something like that, you know that like comedy works. You know, just making someone laugh, you know, putting a smile on someone's face, like will instantly make them feel like 20% better, if not more. You know,
for sure.
Well, it's like Titus said, it's like you're not over it, but I would say that it's how I would describe that feeling after, like, oh, it's okay to laugh at, you know, at this. It's like, not that life goes on, but there's more to this,
right?
You know, and for me, it was. I was young and I was really emotional, you know, like really if you hurt my feelings, it sucked, you know?
Yeah.
And I would dwell on it. And I remember something happening to a friend, and then I was like, oh man, that would crush me if that happened to me. And then that friend just making a joke about it and everybody laughing about it, you know? I was like, whoa, you know, it was so powerful to me, where it's just like, yeah, I'm acknowledging that this is happening and I feel this way, and it's okay, you know?
Right.
And then I'm going to get through it, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Dang, man. Yeah.
Well, and that's, I mean, because, I mean, just like many other forms of art, you know, comedy can be an art form.
For sure, man.
And to say, you know, just like me, you know, just like music can be, or painting or sculpture. I mean, they all affect your emotions, and where music tends to maybe not be, well, no, I mean, the music I think of is the more like deeply emotional, possibly sad, or at least comforting, but then, you know, there's also goofy music, or you know, music that lifts your spirits. Maybe not goofy, maybe it doesn't make you laugh, but it, you know, brings you up, inspires you, whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same with humor. I mean, humor can be it can be a defense, it can be a medicine, it can be a weapon. You know, it's obviously it has its dark side, but I mean, at the same time, just like music can be done in a way that glorifies God and worships God and praises him, but it can also be done in a way that, you know, is done against God, worships Satan, or worships the things of this world, or
that's
whatever.
Deep, dude.
So I mean, comedy can do that too, you know, and that's why I think it's so sad that it's only been recent times that like Christian stand-ups have even a chance of, you know, getting well known and all that. And not that they need to be glorified or anything like that, but at least, you know, well known in the sense that they can make a living doing it, and you know, can inspire other people to, you know, step up and try it. Because I mean, somebody with a sense of humor, they have your attention. You know, like Kevin Hart, Will Ferrell, I mean, these guys are hilarious most of the time. And you know, and so watching a comedy movie of theirs is way more enjoyable to me than watching The Passion of the Christ, for instance. That doesn't take anything away from Passion of the Christ, but that's heavy.
Yeah.
And if you're watching that purely for entertainment, I don't understand you on any level. Like, that's just such a deep movie. You know, there's so many raw emotions that brings out, and all. It's great, and I'm glad it's around. I'm glad I've seen it and all that, but it's different than I can't think of any than Anchorman, or whatever. Jumanji. I'm trying to think of a funny Kevin Hart movie. I know he has some, just can't think of any. So I mean, so humor and comedy has that power too. So I think it's crazy now that you've mentioned, you know, now that you brought it up, that nobody talks about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a powerful thing. and it has the power to affect people in such a way. I mean, in the same way that music, when you hear a beautiful song, it draws you in. You want to hear more of it. Comedy or humor is the same thing. You know, you hear something funny, you want to give it your attention. You know, you want to. And I mean, for a God who created orangutans or created a natural system that would eventually give way to a platypus, an orangutan, like these crazy, goofy looking things, let alone all the things that live in like the deep ocean. Like or that weird thing.
Some of the neon guys down there.
All that stuff.
They're raving over there, dude.
I mean, the blobfish. Have you seen that? Just all that stuff.
Nose.
Yeah, like, or those monkeys that have that same nose as a blobfish. I don't know what they're called, but they have those weird noses. Baboons have blue butts. I mean,
some of our friends, dude, you just look at them like, dang, God has a humor, bro.
Exactly.
You know who you are.
Man. Yeah, man.
But so clearly God has a sense of humor too. Because take a platypus, for instance. It is obviously not, it's a mammal, so it doesn't have an actual duck bill, even though they call it a duck-billed platypus. So if you think about it, those are really just really big lips. just big old, like, you know, lips.
Just big lips.
Well, how else do you explain that? I mean, that's a God with a sense of humor.
He just making things out here, man.
Exactly. So he knew or just some. Well, yeah, I don't need to give more examples. But So I mean, so a God that creates that and puts that into the world for us is the same God who, made a natural system that creates beautiful sunsets and amazing mountaintop views and all that. So man. But it's, and not just in the Christian world, but a lot in especially more religious circles, it's viewed as like less than like a court jester, like looked down on. And I think that's pretty sad,
Yeah. There's so much power to be had, especially in my experience with laughing at your own, like Kevin Hart's got to laugh at my pain,
Yeah.
And that's been so important in my life, you know. It's laughing at the mistakes I've made, laughing at the things that are unfortunate in my life that, I can find humor in.
Right.
Oh, dude, it's so important.
Yeah. Like, or someone else even being able to make fun of that or like say something funny about a situation you went through.
Yeah.
And you laughing about it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't hurt your feelings.
Right.
Like, you're not so puffed up that you can't take a joke, that you can't like make fun of yourself, Like, I don't know. I just think we're all,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I'm tired.
I'm sorry, man. I liked what you were saying. It just happened. You want some all, man? I got some. I got one in my mouth. Okay. It just snuck up on me.
But yeah, no, it's just so like we're talking about. We don't talk about it enough. It's something that I like that you said it's viewed as less than. Like comedy or just humor. To me, it's humor because like I'm not a big comedy connoisseur, but I do.
Meaning stand-up comedy?
Yeah. Like I don't know. I
guess humor is more, kind of what we're talking about, right? Just
humor in general. Like just having humor around and being like humorous. But I mean, as far as like comedy, because I don't really watch a whole lot of comedy and stuff. But I mean, you have to have a sense of humor. If you don't have a sense of humor, it's really hard to connect with you. That a lot of people get, and you can like break ice in a room and break tensions in a room with people you've never met. Like if you can just start, making people laugh or making people smile or just like, just being stupid. People appreciate that because a lot of times, like 9 times out of 10, they're that way too. Like they just don't know you yet. And they're waiting for something and for it not to be awkward, It's just like, I don't know if it'd be interesting if we were before God and he cracked a joke, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know,
For me, it'd be showing me my life.
yeah, he's like, really?
Wait for it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Your dad told you not to do that. Your dad told you not to do that.
Dude. I mean, that would be so bizarre, but it would be hilarious and it would be great.
Oh my God.
I just picture God with like the football analyst, like doing the little X's. He's like, and this is where your dad told you not to go, but that is exactly where you went. Let's do this slow motion. Ready? Oh! And then you learned your lesson, didn't you?
Nice.
Dude.
And that's a good point, because it's comedy, and especially or humor when it involves your life, like making fun of yourself is the deeper sense of that for me is coming to the realization that it's not over, man. You learn from it, and you're past all that, and now you see it, and it's funny to you. It's not who you are anymore.
Yeah,
you know? That's a deeper level. And it's like you said, Mike, it's humility. If you can't laugh at yourself, or you can't have somebody, of course, you know, there's lines. It's respect, you know.
Definitely.
It can be done respectfully.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you can't laugh at yourself at all, then you might have a God complex. You know, like something like,
or some issue.
Yeah. You got something going on.
Yeah. You got to humble yourself. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, not be so serious or stiff. I was always like that growing up. I was just always so serious. Everyone around me was everyone was cracking jokes and just always being funny and stuff. And I'm like, guys, be serious. You know
why?
I don't know.
Really?
I was just always like that. And it bothered me that everyone just wanted a big joke. And I was like, I felt like no one wanted to be serious or get serious. And then, you know, I get older and I'm like, wow, people just can clear the air, you know, and be serious at the same time. Like, if you're at a really good seminar and the guy speaking, like, makes a joke or like just does something that makes everyone laugh, everyone's having a good time and everyone's listening intently, you know, that's what it made me start, you know, feeling. And I was just like, man, I don't want to be just this stuck up person that no one wants to talk to, you know, or no one wants to even hear. It's like, dude, if you can't make someone laugh around you, it's like a grandpa telling a story, you know, he's going to throw something a little crazy in there that you're just like, that didn't happen. Or, you know, he's going to throw something in there or try to make people laugh. He's a storyteller. You know, Jesus was a storyteller. That's a gift that he gives people, is being able to tell these stories, you know, speak in a way that people are listening, grab their attention. And, you know, it's like, it's a good thing if you can do that.
Yeah.
You know, like
absolutely
telling stories. Your dad is notorious for hilarious freaking stories, man. Oh my gosh. Man, it's a powerful thing. Like, I'm glad
it really opens your mind to receive. And I've really noticed it being a youth leader, because these kids will just stare at you and just blank, you know? Like, they're just not there. They're not receiving anything you're saying. They don't want to be there. I was their age. I remember what it's like. But my youth leaders, like, were really serious, right? And I remember that I just dreaded being in the youth group. Always dreaded it. And not saying that my initial thought was, well, I'll just be funny. No, it's not that. It was like, let me get a reaction out of these kids, you know? Let me just try. And then I would like this last Sunday, we were talking about justice, and I was telling them stories about when I was a kid and I'd get in trouble with my dad, and I told them, you know, just things that are funny now that when I was living through them, they were terrible. They were, you know? And then I see some of the kids smirking, some of the kids laughing, some of the kids asking questions, you know? And they're fully engaged. Yeah. And then I bring them back to like, well, let's bring it back to God now, you know? And they're receiving and they're interacting. I was like, geez, okay. That's the answer. Like, is humor powerful? Yes, you know, of course. And is it the joy of the Lord is our strength? Like, I personally think so 100% too.
Heck
you know?
yeah, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you guys connect that, like, or is it just me kind of like humor and then the joy of the Lord?
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I made that connection consciously before you said that.
Okay.
But it absolutely makes sense for sure. Yeah. One thing that, and thinking about this today, I mean, all the things that humor and laughter can do, I mean, it can go as far as it can be your way of expressing victory over something, over a trauma, over something that the enemy's attacked you over. I mean, being able to laugh that's freedom. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And because I mean, in the most oppressed nations in history, whether it's now or before, one of the things they control is speech, because because then there can't be any dissent, or at least any widespread open dissent. And so that's what I think about, and in those societies, it's not usually a good time, during the Holocaust, I can't imagine there were a lot of people cracking jokes, and I'm not going to be like, and if they had, it would have been a better time. Of course not. But I'll bet there were people that's how they made it through, is, trying to find the joy where they can, finding God's hope and God's joy in every moment. This is, regardless of your situation, this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And so no matter what, if you're able to truly laugh at a past wound or a trauma, to me, that is equal, or that is being able to say to the enemy or to whatever negative circumstance, I can laugh about this. You don't have anything over me anymore,
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so, it's almost heartbreaking to meet somebody who has that, usually, at least in guys, I think it's, the guys that go to the gym is who comes to my mind. And, they don't talk to anybody. They just walk in there with their music, put their music on. And then they, you kind of see them like giving the side eye just to make sure people see how tough they are. And that's not everybody that goes to the gym, obviously. But there are people like that. Like when you, me, and Liam used to go to the gym, and, we'd just laugh and having a good time while we're working out, just dumb jokes or whatever. And people would just stare at us. It's like, this is the morning. Like, we used to go, 5 in the morning? We'd get to the
4:30 sometimes.
Jeez,
how do you make it through that if you're not laughing, And the people just kind of looking at us like we're crazy, or, they kind of made them feel like they could come up to us and say whatever. I don't remember any particularly super deep situation or, profound things that came out of that. But we were able to interact with other people because they saw, we were friendly, we were open, we were nice. Like, that's it's such a billboard, or it's an opportunity at least to show off Christ in you,
That's good, man.
And it's so sad that there are churches that discourage humor and laughter, at least, in the house of God, quote unquote.
I
don't know, man.
They do, man.
So I love this topic.
Dude, get into it, man.
That's deep.
I wanted to share a couple of scriptures, man. This one, go for it.
Go
Dude, this scripture is insane. Psalm 2:4. So right off the bat, but the one who rules in heaven laughs.
Okay.
Like, so short, but geez.
Yeah.
The one who rules in heaven laughs. Like, that's kind of insane. There's 20 scriptures. I'm not going to go through all 20, but there was one specifically. God blesses you who are hungry now, for you will be satisfied. God blesses you who weep now, for in due time you will laugh. That
Dang,
is
dude.
literally the scripture we're expressing right now. Like there's times where you will be weeping and you will just be broken over something. And dude, in due time, you'll be laughing about it. You've just been sharing about your whole life has been like that.
Yeah.
Like you can look back on your life and laugh about things that you've gone through. Like Titus has said, and you've said multiple times, that's when healing is there.
Yeah.
Like laughter brings healing. There's so many more scriptures than just 20 scriptures that talk about laughter and joy. But you just a quick search and you'll find so many scriptures of God bringing joy and laughter and rejoicing. Like he wants laughter to fill your lips once again. That's what one of the scriptures says. Like laughter will fill your lips, eventually. Like if you truly just, believe in God and you follow him, you listen to what he says. Yes, there are hardships. Yes, there will be mourning. Yes, there will be, things that you don't think you can get through, but eventually you will be laughing about it. Like, dude, it just makes sense. Like this topic is so much more than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's funny that this is it's a thing about comedy.
Right.
But because I was like, comedy, and then I didn't think too much into it, but it did link joy, and I love that it links joy in there, and that's that's part of who God is.
Yeah.
Part of who he is to lighten something. You can't be mournful all the time.
Right.
Mournful.
It destroys you.
Yeah. Dude, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
It kills the spirit. It kills the heart. It makes everything null and void eventually, So if you can't have that breakthrough, there was another scripture that I was trying to find that talks about when you receive the healing from the Holy Spirit. It says something like, let laughter come afterwards. Like, that you're broken away from this thing when like you just get filled with laughter. And it's just like, dude, come on. That's powerful. It's something that I know that God has given us, the ability to laugh. Like,
right.
I mean, not just us. Have you ever seen a monkey laugh?
Yeah.
It's terrifying, but dude, they can laugh.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? If other creatures can laugh, or I've been watching these funny like animal videos, like this guy's recording turkeys, I think, and one sneaks up and bites him right here, and he's like, "Ow!" And they all just go, like they all laugh at the same. Everyone's like, "Dude, they just all laughed at you." Like, dude, it's awesome. It's a good thing to, to think about laughter more. Like more than I think about it. If you're dreading your day, like at work. Good friend Marshall, like me and him work, and dude, it's miserable sometimes. Like you're going through it, you're both going through it, and then just out of nowhere, one of us will do something stupid and just make the other one laugh, and like we're just like laughing about something, and it gets you through the day. When you start suddenly you can have a good time. You can be like, okay, this sucks, but whatever. Like we're here, but we're gonna make light out of it.
Yeah.
And it gets you through the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
why I don't know how you work alone, man.
I'm hilarious.
Yeah, you're just bouncing things off the wall with just jokes at yourself.
Well, I get to listen to a lot of stand up.
There you go.
First of all,
there you go.
Dry Bar Comedy has been awesome.
Yeah, they got some good stuff on Dry Bar.
Because working at a church, it doesn't feel appropriate to listen to some of the stand-up that's out there.
Yeah.
The Dry Bar is pretty safe.
Yeah, there's a lot of comedy out there that you shouldn't listen to. There's a lot of bad stuff out there. But, I mean.
At least not in a church office.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was.
Comedy.
Right.
You're welcome.
But to something I mentioned earlier and a little more like what you were talking about, Mike, is, well, I guess what we've kind of all been talking about a little bit is when you have that joy. I mean, as Christians, what were we commissioned to do? To go out and share the gospel, build the kingdom. Who wants to be a part of something that is boring and miserable and just, nobody's going to want to be there I can't say that nobody responds to a serious message. A hard religious message, but by and large, people don't want to be a part of something with somebody who is humorless or, it's tough. People didn't follow Hitler because he had a great sense of humor. Obviously, I'll admit that. But at the same time, I don't know, that might be a little convoluted for me to go down that road. All I'm saying
Hitler,
is,
man.
Well, so yeah, bring up Hitler. It was a buzzkill, I guess. But being able to, even if you're not just constantly laughing, which is unrealistic for any sane person, but just having a joyous countenance on you is going to shine the light of Christ brighter than any megaphone on a corner or any Bible you're shoving into people's chests.
I agree, man.
Or anything like that, because people see that, they see that freedom in you and they want to be a part of that. Well, in this economy and all this COVID going around and all this political strife here we have in America, how are you able to, how are you not pissed off all the time?
Right.
Oh, it's because I know that no matter how any of this goes, I still win in the end. I have, God's already given me victory. I have victory, so I can express joy in that.
Yeah.
I know that there is a light at the end of every dark tunnel I enter because I'm on the side of the God who created everything and orchestrates everything. Yeah. He holds the world in his hand. I think he can handle a recession. Or he can bring me through a recession.
For sure. There you go. Yeah.
So when you're not bogged down by all the negativity, just your natural response is smile, joy, being friendly, humor often.
Yeah, man.
So I think that as Christians, it's our duty to at least find a way to express that in our lives. Whether, if you don't have a quick wit, fine, but just share a smile with somebody or laugh at somebody else's joke, even if it's dumb.
Yeah. Dude,
you know what I mean?
Dude, the amount of times that
Were you laughing at my...
He was, man.
I was just remembering when you just laughed at the guy's joke all day and it's just
just trying to be nice.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, the amount of times that I've been blessed to be able to make someone else smile at work that clearly is going through something hard, or being not the nicest person at all.
Yeah.
And I'm just you just grit your teeth and you try to make some kind of ground with them. Sometimes it doesn't work and sometimes it's not going to work. Ecclesiastes says there's a time for, and then lists everything. There is a time for everything, so we're not saying always be just the funny guy, always just, try to, there's definitely times to be serious. There's definitely times to be all the sad things and but you don't stay in that. You never stay in that. You also never stay in this constant place of joking. That's gotten so many people in trouble.
Right.
Always in a place of being quick to fire back or doing something just, calm it down sometimes.
Yeah.
So there's always a time and place. But I've had, you know, the pleasure of being able to like make someone's day that was not a nice person at the start, but at the end it was because they were going through something really hard. And I'm like sitting there notarizing something for them, and we got time to kill. Like they got a big document, we got time to kill. It's just me and this person. So he just was going through something really hard, and then we were laughing by the end of it. He was really mean at the beginning of it, but at the end of it, I was having him laugh, and he was making me laugh, and it was just like, man, thank you God that I was able to do put a smile on this guy's face, and his day hopefully has gotten better through and or something was hopefully relieved at least a little bit, you know. So it's like, I think that kind of ties into what you were saying. That's the whole reason I said that was like kind of our job as Christians is not so much this doom and gloom message. What did they used to call it?
Fire and brimstone,
hellfire preaching, like all that stuff, like there's some people that respond to that. There is, and it's hard for me to be that person that comes with that message, but I mean, man, I think part of our job is really just to connect with somebody on a level like, bringing up comedy, like just laughing with this person, getting to a place where both of you have, mutual ground that you can laugh about something hard, is all the healing people need sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's powerful. And it's always, I've thought about it a lot, humor and all the things that God has given us. And, we're created in his image, and how powerful this is and how it's gotten me through certain things and how it's helped me build relationships and strengthen relationships. Some of my best friends, some of my, my wife, like my family, funny, all of them, like just hilarious. And to share a laugh, and to, I don't know, it's, you see people that are funny and you see some like humility. It takes humility to laugh at yourself and just all of these things that branch out of humor. It's deep. It's so interesting, man.
Yeah.
It's great subject.
Yeah, man. It's good stuff.
Good. Yeah.
I like it. I like that you just said that about family. Cause like there will be times where I haven't laughed. It feels like I haven't laughed in so long. Like you just had a good laugh. And then like me and my brother just go to see my parents, and it's just like the four of us, but we are laughing hysterically at stuff, just old times, old memories, or just something funny that my mom saw, or like my dad just, goes on his tangents, and we're just like laughing and stuff. And like, it's great to have, just to forget that you can be that, like in that, you can have the moment where you go and you're just all laughing. Like everyone's just laughing. Like, I mean, our last podcast, before we even started, all three of us were just dying laughing, man.
Yeah.
My throat was sore before we even started. So it's good, it's good to have that. And yeah, man, it's crazy to think about how all of it's connected. And when you don't think about that, how deep it goes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So this is cool.
Jeez.
Yeah. As both, I mean, was it last Monday? I just lost my mom's dad, my grandpa. Both my dad's adopted dad and my mom's dad. They always made people laugh in their own way. My grandpa, who was a World War II vet, he was a medic, so he got to see some of the worst sides of things. He was over in Germany. He fought in Germany.
Wow.
I wouldn't even want to picture that stuff.
Yeah, and it took a while for him to tell me any stories about that, just because of all that stuff he saw, and he wasn't always a joyous person. But when he was around his grandkids, or when he was around kids, or when he was telling people about Jesus or telling people about his son, my dad, who was a missionary. That's when he would let Christ's light shine through him.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So
man.
brightly. When he met you, I think the first thing he did was he went to shake your hand and introduce himself, and then he told you to pull his finger.
Yeah.
And he had a roll of Smarties
Yep.
in
Dude.
his hand. Classic Roland Fox or Roland Fox.
He was hilarious, man.
I just said my own grandpa's. I mixed the two. I said Ronald. That grandpa's name is Roland, and my other grandpa's name is Donald. So I mixed the two. But my grandpa Don, my mom's dad, every birthday he would send out. He'd have a printout of jokes he found online or wherever.
Oh my gosh.
And he would just he would send out the sheet of his favorite jokes, and some of them
awesome.
were so bad, just dad jokes.
Yes.
To the 10th power.
Yes.
But there was, first of all, there was always at least one that genuinely made me laugh. But a lot of them were just so bad you just had to laugh.
Yeah.
And he was a farmer his whole life. He was born in the Great Depression.
Man.
And he grew up. He never got drafted for the war, but he and I'm not sure why. Probably had something to do with being a farmer. But he raised pigs. He and he had 4 daughters that he raised and supported, and crops. And into his 80s, he had fields he was tilling.
Wow.
Man.
In the last couple of years of his life, some of our family bought my grandparents a house to kind of live out their last years in. But living through all this life, and not necessarily a bad or hard, not hard emotionally maybe, but there were definitely hard times in there.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. That's
because if you're a farmer and you're not a part of one of these big companies or corporations or whatever, you're not rich.
Yeah.
So there were definitely some tough times, but both of my grandpas found the value in humor and passed that on. Like you were saying, some of my greatest memories with my family, some of my memories where I've been closest with my dad has all just been through humor, telling stories, joking. Times I've felt the best was when I made my whole family laugh. Being the youngest kid, that's kind of it kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Wanting to make everybody laugh for attention. But
that's right.
But yeah, so it's definitely been an example in my life. And yeah, some of my favorite teachers, favorite bosses, favorite pastors, one of my spiritual fathers, Bishop Jerry Pruitt, he
funny guy.
Yeah, he has
witty, man,
and he has a laugh you always remember. I haven't talked to him in a year or so, and I still picture his or recall his laugh that. Yeah, because just it's that, I don't know. There's something comforting and something that draws you in.
So much character.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful thing, that we don't realize we've been given.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Jeez.
Man.
That's deep.
I like that you said that when your grandpa, when he was around kids or grandkids and talking about God, especially the fact that you relate kids to and God in the same sense, because God is pure, right?
Yeah.
He is purity. God is love. We know that. And we know that God is light. God is innocence. So when you look at kids and you look at God, the innocence of God is something that we will never know until we are with him in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
We can't know that here. We are tainted. There's no way we can know pure innocence.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that has that is a kid, is a baby. And he's that's why childlike faith is something that is so needed in the world. It's and that's what I'm relating it to, is if your grandpa is someone who's been through some of probably the hardest things that man has to go through and trudge through, literally, if when he cracks a smile and the light of God shines through that smile, through joy and through laughter with kids, like he's with kids, and this is a war vet, like the two it's not impossible to see the innocence of God through that.
Yeah.
And his character and his creation, like for him to put that little bit into humanity, that we can show Christ in a smile.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is insane. That is love to his creation right there. That is, to me, that like breaks me up. I'm dang, God, like he's letting people that have gone through the hardest things smile and make someone else's life.
Yeah.
Like that's the power of joy and laughter. That's the power of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that story, man.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry for your loss.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I'm blessed to know this, but both of my grandpas were, and grandmas, they were all four very blessed to have long lives and passed pretty peacefully. Especially my grandpa Don. He just, well, actually, both of my mom's parents just fell over, and both separately, the coroner said they were gone before they hit the ground.
Oh,
they were just
wow.
gone. My grandpa, I think, got up in the middle of the night, and before he was getting back to bed, and he passed.
Wow.
And it was just like that.
Just seamless. Yeah.
No, he said both because my grandma was making, I think she was making lunch when she passed. She just fell on the ground, and the coroner said didn't look like there was any pain, sickness, or suffering. She was just gone.
Man.
And the same with my grandpa, just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way, man. That's the way God intended it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just to go out and like, those are kind of beautiful stories of people passing, like, I mean, that is awesome, and I feel like at a funeral, when something like that happens, there's so much peace in that, like, obviously it's sad, but like, I love it when there's peace in something like that, because it is, we know he's with God. We know that the person that passed, if in fact they were found in God, and we hope that everyone we know is, like, then they're going to be in a better place. They are literally going to be with God. Like, they're doing so much better than we are.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, so literally, I feel like this will probably be the episode title. Not that. Literally, joy is strength.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah.
There's so much. This what I feel is truly toxic masculinity is that over machismo, that I can't laugh at anything.
Yeah.
I just have to be real serious all the time so that everybody knows they can't hurt me. You know? And but that's such a shame to me, because there is so much, because of how powerful what we've been talking about, laughter and joy and humor, how powerful that is. I mean, all the things, again, it's a sword, it's a shield, it's it's a healing balm, it's all these incredible things.
Yeah.
And at its core, it's armor, it's peace.
Yeah.
And it can be misused, of course. I think dads who make fun of their sons specifically, and daughters actually, you don't know what you're doing to your kids. And that's because that you're the defender and you're attacking them. That is such a profound wound, and you're delivering to that you're delivering to your kids if you haven't built an environment of love around it.
Yeah.
There's a difference. My dad can give me a hard time, and since I was a little kid, he's been able to take little jabs at me, nothing real mean or hurtful, but little jabs that kind of toughened me up. But at the same time, I knew he was joking. I knew he loved me. So it was never like, geez, Dad. Or it was rarely, something that hurt my feelings. It was usually kind of showing me, okay, so I can go there with you.
Right.
I can have that kind of joke with you now. And, and that door, it's a door opened, you know? So, so right there, what else is humor? It's intimacy.
Yeah.
With each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. This is so deep. Just like my cough.
I remember going to a friend's house, and because you said when your father makes fun of it, how hurtful it can be. And we went to a buddy's house to play video games. We're all excited. We get there. We'd never been there. It was like maybe 3 of us, and then the kid who lived in the house, and his dad was making fun of him the whole time we were there.
Ooh.
And it wasn't even like it was funny. It was just awkward and like, this is, weird. And I just remember feeling really bad for our friend.
Yeah.
Because, his dad was just ripping in. Like we just want to play video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need you to just, this doesn't need to happen. And it reminds me of, I was talking to a buddy about wounds, and how things can hurt when they're physical. And I was just thinking, like, when's the last time that somebody hurt you physically? Like, do you remember that? And they're like, no. Do you remember the last time someone hurt you with their words? I bet you remember that immediately.
Yeah.
And yeah, you do. Like, you remember the words way faster than any physical wound that healed.
Yeah.
Because that's the power of that's the opposite side of humor, right? It's something that lifts you versus something that really just can be the death of you if you let it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Dude.
The Bible calls our tongue a sleepless evil.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man. That's what it is. It's just that it's so strong, like, to not be able to tame your tongue is, and I know that's not where we are going with that at all, but no. That's what's important, is like knowing, like he's saying, that person didn't need to hear any of that. Like, his dad didn't need to say any of that. You don't need to bully somebody with jokes, like make fun of them, poke fun. Like, I feel like there's a difference between cracking a joke and poking fun. Like, like poking fun or like just kind of jabbing at somebody in a way that's like actually intentionally hurting them is not funny to anybody. Everyone's going to see that and be like, why are you doing that? Like, dude, that's hurting them. Actually, that's not funny.
Yeah.
But those are the people that can obviously point out, I feel like a lot of people like that are the types that you're just talking about, like the macho guys that are just, wanting to do anything they can to look bigger or better than anyone else in the room, so.
Well, and feel bigger and better.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I'll bet the majority of the time, people like that, either that's what they had, that's what they experienced growing up, or like, I would bet that what Victor was talking about, that friend's dad, what it sounds like to me is he didn't have a lot of friends growing up.
Yeah.
So when he saw his son with friends, he just didn't like that.
Yeah.
It's not a good dad that sees their kid having something they didn't have and gets jealous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude.
But I'll bet that was the root of it.
Yeah, honestly. Sure. That makes a lot of sense with stuff like that. Like, jealousy, man. When they see someone having fun and they have to ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? Where does that come from?
For sure.
It's always from pain. Always comes from pain.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know why I'm doing that.
What?
I was going to turn my hat back, but I don't want to sit back and knock it off.
Well, yeah, I think it's a good place to call it. So this has been the 317 podcast. If you like what you see or heard, depending on what medium you're experiencing this in.
Yeah, there you go.
rate wherever it is you rate and review us wherever it is you listen to this, or if you're watching on YouTube. Oh, I thought you were doing that with you.
No. I heard that too.
Rate and review us again. Comment if you're here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, but comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel about joy being strength.
Heck yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
this was enlightening to me.
Yeah, this was a good one, man.
I liked it.
Yeah. Like we were talking about before, I process things out loud.
Yeah.
So this definitely helps that process too.
Yeah, man.
We might even continue this, for a second episode. Who knows? This is so good.
Maybe. There it is.
There it is. So our co-host Victor had to take off early, but I'm here signing off with with co-host Mike. Co-host Mike.
Heck yeah.
And yeah, joy is strength. So take joy. The Bible tells us to take joy. So take joy and know that in whatever situation you are in, the joy of the Lord is your strength.
Amen to that, man.
See you next time.
Later.